Alexandria Harbour was built to stop the fast and the loud. Destroyers, aircraft, torpedo boats coming in at speed. What got in that night moved slower than a man can walk, carried by 6 people who expected to be captured. That was the plan. Get in slow, get caught, sink 2 battleships anyway. Now it's 3 a.m., 1941. One of those 6 lies alone on the harbor mud, his machine dead beneath him, a battleship somewhere overhead. How did he get here? Back up from the mud. Before Penne was alone on the floor of Alexandria Harbour. He was one of 6. 6 frogmen of the Decima MAS, Italy's 10th light flotilla, the men who had made underwater sabotage into a discipline. 3 teams, 3 2-man manned torpedoes, and a plan to put them under the keels of Britain's Mediterranean fleet. They did not swim there. On the night of 18th December 1941, the submarine She-Ray brought them. Running submerged toward the coast under Junio Valerio, Borghese, she surfaced close enough to the harbor mouth to launch, and no closer than she had to. The 6 climbed out, mounted their Maya Lee, and pointed them at the harbor boom, the net barrier strung across the entrance. Getting inside a defended naval base should be the hard part. It wasn't. The British opened their own harbor that night to let a group of destroyers pass, and the Italians simply rode in behind them through the gap in the nets. The door was held open for them. Once inside, the teams split for their targets. Penne's was HMS Valiant, a battleship, one of the heaviest units Britain kept in the Mediterranean. Not a supply ship. Not a soft target chosen, because it was reachable, the core of the fleet. And here is the part I want stated flatly. When this operation was briefed to the men who volunteered for it, the return was described as extremely problematical. That was the exact word the briefing used. Not dangerous, problematical. They were told, in plain language, that coming back was not part of the plan, and they went anyway. This was a one-way strike by trained men. Now follow Penne toward Valiant. He was inside the anchorage when the machine started to die. Penne and his crewman Emilio Bianchi rowed the Maya lay low through the black water, the bulk of HMS Valiant somewhere ahead in the dark. This was the part that was supposed to be easy, the delivery. The powered run to the hull. The torpedo carried the warhead. The 2 men just steered. Then the motor faltered. The Maya lay lost trim, took on water, and went down under them. Nose first into the mud of the harbor floor. Not a clean stop. A sinking. The one piece of the plan that was meant to spare them the labor was now dead weight on the seabed, and the battleship they had crossed the Mediterranean to kill was still a distance off. And Bianchi was gone. At some point in the failure, he had lost consciousness. The cold, the exertion, the foul air of the breathing set. Then he slipped off the torpedo and surfaced. Penne was alone on the bottom, with a dead machine and a live charge. Think about what that leaves him. The Maya was the whole point. A motor built to carry a warhead no man could shift by muscle alone. Now the motor is dead in the silt. The charge is meant to be driven into position, not hauled, and it still has to reach Valiant's hull, by hand, along the floor of a defended enemy harbor, with the night burning down toward dawn. Overhead, the hull. Valiant's keel hung in the dark above him like a ceiling. Close enough now that the whole problem had shrunk to one brutal question of distance. Not the Mediterranean he had crossed to get here, just the last stretch of mud between the charge and the steel it was built to open. So he got down into the silt, took hold of the warhead, and began to drag. He is alone on the seabed now. No machine, no crewman. The Maya that was supposed to carry him the last stretch is dead on the mud behind him, and Emilio Bianchi, the man who rowed with him, is gone into the dark of Alexandria Harbor. What Penne has left is a warhead, 300 kilos of explosive, detached, dead weight, and the keel of a battleship somewhere above him in the black. So he drags it. Understand what that means. He is at the bottom of a defended harbor, oxygen counting down, and he pulls the charge across the mud by hand, a few feet at a time, resting, hauling again. There is no propulsion. There is only the man and the weight and the direction he has decided to go. He works by feel toward the shadow of HMS Valiant's hull above him. When he reaches her keel, he stops hauling and starts working. Exhausted, by hand, he sets the charge in position on the seabed directly beneath the battleship. He cannot see the fuse, so he sets it by touch, and then he arms it. That is the moment the mission is finished. Not when he surfaces, not when he is caught. Here, in the dark, under the keel, on the 19th of December, 1941, the charge is placed, the clock is running, and nothing anyone does above the waterline can pull it back off her hull. The equipment they built to deliver the strike failed him at every stage. The Maya lay broke, and the crewman was lost. The plan collapsed into one exhausted man, and a weight he refused to leave behind, and he delivered it anyway. Muscle and refusal, not machinery. When he finally rises toward the surface, the hardest part is already done, which is exactly why his capture, minutes away, comes too late to matter. Too late for the ship, but not too late for the man. And that test is coming. They pulled him from the water near Valiant around 3 a.m. and brought him aboard the ship he had just mined. 3 hours he spent below decks, directly above his own charge, waiting for it to go off. His interrogator was Captain Morgan, and here is what he did. He told Morgan an explosion was coming, and soon. He did not confirm where the charge was or point to it. He gave the enemy the warning and nothing else. Enough to save lives, not enough to save the ship. Morgan acted on that alone. No location, no proof, just the word of the frogman he was holding. He ordered personnel topside and cleared the spaces near the hull. At 6:04 on the morning of the 19th of December, 1941, the charge tore open Valiant's hull beside B turret, 21 feet below the waterline. The hole it left ran wide enough to flood her onto the harbor bottom. And because of the evacuation, it killed no one. That was the Decima MAS strike, finished. 2 of Britain's Mediterranean battleships on the harbor bottom, a tanker crippled beside them, all inside a defended base, in one night. The wider meaning I'll leave for later. What stays with me is smaller. A man warned his captors while sitting on his own bomb, and gave nothing that would spare the target. Which brings us to the enemy who pinned the medal. March 1945. De la Penne received Italy's gold medal for valor for the attack on Alexandria harbor. That is the record. Here is the part that stays with me. Admiral Morgan argued for the award, and then Morgan pinned it to the chest of the man who had mined his ship, the captain of HMS Valiant, decorating the frogman who put the hole in her side. The Regia Marina gets mocked. Fairly, most of the time. But 6 men and 3 machines took Britain's Mediterranean battleship line out of the war in a single night. Something the Italian surface fleet and all its dreadnoughts never managed once. And the medal was not for the damage. It was for the warning. De la Penne broke the ship and spared her crew. Valiant's own captain understood exactly what that cost him, and what he chose to spare. That is why he pinned it on. That's the story of one man on the mud beneath a battleship. If it held you, give it a like, subscribe, and send it to a friend. See you next time.